嗰次家訪完，聽完成套西班牙 Wadax 嘅旗艦，再睇下自己個戶口，真係嗱臨走去買6合彩。
你冷靜啲先，但係有冇咁誇張啊？
哇，大佬啊，唔係點買啊？佢啲旗艦靚聲到爆，但係個價錢我賣咗層樓都買唔起啊！
係喎，唔怪之得你成日望住草哥屋企啲相喺度 FF， 睇嚟你真係好恨。
喂，你知唔知佢哋出咗新嘅 Studio 系列啊？
吓，真係噶？
係啊 ，Studio 系列啊，一樣咁靚聲，價錢低咗好多，今次終於可以做飛雲啊！
機會嚟啦，飛雲！
好啦！
哇，恭喜晒，終於唔使再望住張相流口水啦。
係啊，我等咗咁耐，終於等到啦。
見你真係着晒燈，我都去睇下佢有咩咁犀利先。
So today we are announcing in a world premiere the Studio Player Collection. Studio Player Collection is made of the Studio Player, Studio Clock, and the Studio PSU. The Studio Player is a one-box solution which has streaming, supporting Tidal Connect, Cobus Connect, because yesterday was announced worldwide. We already support it. We are pending Roon certification, which we expected to be in the next couple of weeks. It's also compatible UPnP, Audio Nirvana, EA Play, Spotify, also Spotify Connect. We also have CD and SACD player, okay, and has a volume control, so you can connect it like this directly into Power Amp, right? Besides, it inherits the key functionalities of the reference line because the D2A modules are the identical ones used in the reference stack. So the signature, the sonic footprint is identical. Okay. It's not the same thing, but the footprint, the DNA is the same thing because the result is not only from the DAC, but from everything together. We have the same functionalities like the output impedance that you can select on this unit to match the cables, to match the power amp, and to match the overall room acoustics. You also have output level, well, and the rest is more or less common, but basically the most important feature is this output impedance. Okay, so this is what you get with one box. Now, say we want to escalate performance. For this, we have designed two products. Okay, these two products, one is the clock, external clock. The other one is the power supply. The external clock has 6 different outputs at the back, which I will show you later. And we can see here the different outputs that are configurable. Means that we can have the different output frequencies on each socket. You can say, for example, you have a network switch and you have a server that accepts an external input, say 10 megahertz. You can dedicate 2 outputs to those functionalities. Then you dedicate another 2 outputs for the player for 22 and 24 megahertz. And you have 2 other separate ones for any future use. But also, for example, if you use in a multi-channel configuration, you can also send the same clock to different channels. But you can also use this clock with other DACs. Any DAC that supports external clock, the Studio Clock can adapt to this, okay? Because we can change the frequency here easily from, say, 10 megahertz, 180, up to 196 megahertz. So this is a true master clock. It can go from 44.1 kilohertz for a word clock type of concept to a master clock concept like this one. Besides this, you can tune the phase noise curve because it's impossible to optimize all the phase noise across all the spectrum. So this way you can select where you want to prioritize your optimization. And this has an impact in the sonic output. Lastly, we have the Studio PSU, which is a very complex product. It's more than 800 parts inside with 20 boards inside the product. And it's both of them are not based on trickle-down reference technology. No. the reference system has technology that has been evolving over the last few years. And this evolution is part of this is on these products. Okay, so this technology will eventually will be scaled or moved to the propagated to the reference line also, eventually. So now maybe I want to show you on the back of the unit, studio player, clock, power supply. Power supply has actually two outputs. The third one is for our internal engineering development purposes. Actually, the production unit will be two pieces, two outputs. One connects to the clock, one connects to the player. The clocks go from the clock output to the input of the player, 75 ohm standard BNC. And then you have these other outputs for, as I mentioned, for any other connection for routers, switches, networks, servers, and so on. So now we have the three pieces. We have a great power supply, but we have a challenge. We need to provide this clean power to make it reach these pieces with no loss. And that's a challenge. That's a challenge when the noise floor is so low, because there are microphonic effects, there are contamination that comes from EMI, EMC. At the end, this clean power doesn't get here. So that's why we designed our own cables, and we're going to move. And we're going to talk now about the DC studio cable, a Casa DC. So we have three levels of performance in three different cables for this mission. One of them is intended for the reference line, which is pure silver. We use unicrystal. We did a fundamental research to analyze what happens when you have a DC, but the DC noise level gets corrupted to the other end. So we identify all the different sources that contribute to that. Part of those are mechanical, and do need to treat those issues consequently. So we developed our own termination at both ends to control these resonance elements, because there are some vibrations that travel from one place to the other, sometimes due to power to transformer by own vibration, and sometimes because the acoustic waves couple through the chassis. But also at the same time, we need to also take care of the vibration transmission to the other end. So it's a very complex design mechanically that's also in the reference line, but this time it was made in copper. So we could have a $20,000 link, a $6,000 link, and a $1,000 link that's simpler than this one. Okay. So it's all a whole ecosystem. To the reference back means you unplug, you unscrew two elements, and you pull out and you pull in new modules. It's the cleanness, organic, and to make it more, I would say, for a wider public.